One of the challenges President Joe Biden faces in our current information environment and a Donald Trump media environment in particular is how to communicate just how much this administration, Democrats, and Congress have actually gotten done. It's been a lot. For example, the last 2 years have been the most productive years for U.S. climate efforts ever. We are still not on trajectory to meet our Paris climate targets. But for the first time, it actually seems like we have a shot at making it, almost entirely thanks to the Inflation Reduction Act, passed without a single Republican vote. One of the people who first championed the early version of the climate plan as the Green New Deal is Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Democrat of New York, and she joins me now. Congresswoman, it's great to have you on. You know, one of the things that I encounter, I think, particularly in social media-dominated spaces that where most sort of people under 30 get their news, is there's like a kind of really intense doomerism and kind of negativity that just sort of comes with the media, right? More than anything. But I think it shapes people's views of politics. And when I tell people that, like, emissions are setting all-time lows, like solar deployment setting all-time highs, like, people don't know that we've actually kind of had a pretty good few years on climate stuff.
Yeah, it seems like it almost feels like when you remind folks of that, they think you're being the buzzkill for the buzzkills. Right. But it is important for us to communicate that we are winning. And this isn't just about a political context. This isn't even about cheerleading the president, although his leadership and willingness to work and make climate a priority is important to note. But this is really about a story of people's movements winning. This is about frontline activists winning. This is about young people, you know, like Sunrise Movement, bird-dogging senators, and making this issue front and center and completely politically unforgettable and politically urgent that we pass the largest U.S. federal climate investment in American history. And that has translated already to nearly 250,000 jobs that have already been created, of 9 million jobs that are estimated to be created in the next several years.
I got to ask you about just the Hill the last few days, because it really has been crazy and weird. And just what you make of the Mayorkas impeachment and the fact that they're you know, it's the first attempt to impeach a cabinet secretary in 150 years, and they miscounted the votes, and they're going to try again on Tuesday. What do you think about it?
I mean, let's just call a spade here. Republicans are dealing with not their first choice speaker, not their second choice speaker, not their third choice speaker.
Fair.
They're dealing with the speaker that they could get and that they could agree on. And that means an individual that does not have experience in party leadership, that is a relative newcomer when it comes to the tenure of member that you're used to seeing when they typically get the speaker's gavel. And that means that the experience in vote counting is not quite up to the standard that we usually see in a speaker's race. You're also dealing with the fact that this is an impeachment without merit. Secretary Mayorkas has demonstrated there is absolutely no evidence for an impeachable offense. It is completely politicized. It imperils the Republicans' own swing district members to force a vote on something so clearly craven and without merit, that I think you see what happened last night, all of that coming together, and the fact that they think that Democrats owe it to Republicans to give them, you know, their counts, our attendance counts is laughable. It really speaks to the fact that you're working with people who are not used to being in this chamber.
Yeah, they were mad that Newsom told them that Al Green was going to become like wheeling back in scrubs from abdominal surgery. Like, you should have given them a heads up on that.
And if you didn't expect Al Green to be doing that, then you don't know who Reverend and Representative Al Green is. Yes. He will do that.
He will do it, as demonstrated yesterday. It's a good point. I want to ask a question about something. The Congressional Budget Office And you tweeted this because I've been maddened by the discussion of immigrants, which basically I feel like the entire discussion is they're coming to take your stuff. There's like only 7 slices of pizza in America, and everyone that comes is going to take one of those slices, and you're not going to have any. And the Congressional Budget Office basically said today, look, we're readjusting our projection of GDP growth up by $7 trillion. And also, we're readjusting the U.S. government money to reduce the deficit by $1 trillion because of immigration, higher net immigration. And you tweeted that being like, guys, we're not talking at all about the net positives immigrants bring to this country. Absolutely.
It is actually completely nonsensical that we do not talk about the enormous blessing, economic blessing that immigrants and immigration represents to the United States of America. And a lot of folks sometimes think that this is just a certain kind of immigrant, right? Like college educated or technical visas. All immigrants that we're seeing, this is the CBO estimate, immigration writ large is yielding enormous economic benefits to the United States. And let's bring this out even finer. If you are a caregiver, if you are a baby boomer, if you are someone that cares for someone who is aging, we currently do not have the economic or social structural capacity to take care of our seniors, and we will increasingly not have that if we, quote unquote, lock up our border and shut down immigration. In fact, the thing that has distinguished U.S. economic performance from other countries like Japan or other developed economies is the fact that our pro-immigration policies actually allow us to continue in our economic growth, whereas similar countries with anti or more kind of closed border policies experience economic stagnation when they submit themselves to this xenophobic kind of border panic narrative that Fox News, frankly, seeks to peddle and instill in so many people.
Quickly, in the last 20 seconds, I know you are a no on the supplemental for Israel, barring some sort of strings attached on that aid. You said that we're seeing in Gaza a slaughter on a speech yesterday on the floor. How many Democrats are in that position as you? Do you have? Is there a rough count of how many no's there are in the caucus?
What I will say is that the grassroots activism around a bilateral ceasefire is working. And there are far more members than perhaps may be publicly visible that have a lot of trepidation around voting for an aid package that contains A, no humanitarian aid, and B, I think we are crossing the Rubicon here in just no holds barred, completely unconditional aid to the Israeli government. We have Leahy laws on the books that prevent U.S. aid from funding gross human rights violations. And we, I think, are seeing a level of depravity in Gaza that is becoming morally untenable to support.